going on, guys? This is the Red SG Shredder here, aka Vafa. Oops. This is going to be the guitar lesson about scales. So if you haven't watched any of my lesson videos before, make sure to go watch the previous ones, and also be sure to read my disclaimer on my YouTube channel profile thing. Just remember, I tune all of my strings down one whole step, but I sort of first notes and everything as if I was in standard tuning. So if you want to play along, this is what I tune to. Alright. So this is just kind of like a general introduction to scales. I'm not going to really show you too many. I'm just going to kind of go over like how to construct your own scales and stuff like that and how they work. So you're going to need to know your intervals from the previous lesson, so hopefully that's fresh in your mind. And another thing, at this point in the lessons, I hope that you've kind of gotten to know your guitar a little bit and you kind of know where the notes and stuff are generally. I'm not going to be able to slow down and say like, okay, play, 12th fret, 13th fret, 14th fret, stuff like that. I'm just going to, say play A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and it's going to be, I'm just going to play it, and I hope you know where it is. Okay, so first thing first, what is a scale? It's just a sequence of notes. It starts with your root note, and it repeats every octave. So if you remember, there's just 12 notes, and you can just pick and choose some of those out of that sequence of 12 notes. So you'll have a name of scale, something like A minor. So A is the key you're in, that's your root note, and then minor is just kind of like the sound of the scale. Throughout this whole exercise, when I talk to you guys about scales and stuff, don't worry about what particular key it's in. I will show you an example in a key, but learn that scale in other keys too. That's really important. So focus on the shape, not the specific position that I'm showing you it in. So anyway, there's a first scale I want to show you. It's kind of a special one. It's called the chromatic scale. It's just all 12 notes. So I don't really know if it has a root note or a key at all. You just play any note you want, and that's it. So it would sound something like this. And so on and so forth, all the way through, as many octaves as you want. It's got a really kind of ambiguous atonal sound. It's used in a lot of like death metal, jazz, fusion, but you can use it in just about any kind of style of music you want. And if you guys know that Flight of the Bumblebee, that's all chromatic. Okay, so the next scale I'm going to show you is just a minor scale. There's 3 notes that are really important in this scale, and that is the minor third, minor sixth, and minor seventh intervals. And then you always have your root note, and we'll also have another special note that's not specific to the minor key, but it's important. It's your fifth. So this scale just has 7 notes. And for our example purposes, I chose A minor. It's just A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And the reason I chose that scale is because there's no sharps or flats. You just remember A, B, C, D, F, G, and that's it. So let me just show it to you guys real quick. Well, I just played the A at the end there, the little A octave. Once again, those important notes, and you can just use your intervals to find out these notes. It's just a minor third, minor sixth, and minor seventh. So here we go. There's your minor third, it's a C. Minor sixth is an F. And then your minor seventh is G. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you is kind of interesting. What we're going to do is, instead of starting and ending on the A, play the same notes but start and end on a C. So it's just C, D, E, F, G, A, B. So this is what it'll sound like. So here's our C note, right? And if you just go ahead and figure out what the rest of the notes are of the scale, like how they just map out to the rest of the fretboard, you can figure this one out. But here's a C, and then D, E, F, G, A, B. Okay, so those are the same notes in that A minor scale, but it sounds different. And the reason is because we changed the root from A to C. So what you get is actually a C major scale. So you just learned a major scale and a minor scale. And there's one more different thing we can do. We're going to do the exact same thing, but instead of starting and ending on A or starting and ending on C, we're going to start and end on E. So it'll sound like this. Here's your E note right here. Right, so that one has a completely different sound. It's kind of dark and kind of like a little bit ambiguous. That one's actually called E Phrygian. It's another important scale in playing any kind of metal. Yeah, those are 3 different scales. Those are actually called modes. There's a whole bunch of different modes, but those are the ones, those 3 ones that I think are really important, I think. Alright, so now we're going to do something kind of interesting. We're just going to go back to our A minor scale and change just one note. We're going to change the minor seventh, the G, to a major seventh, which is a G sharp. So I'll just show you what it sounds like. Alright, so I just changed that one last note from a G to a G sharp. And if you notice, it has kind of a neoclassical sound. Yngwie Malmsteen uses that scale extensively. That's called the harmonic minor scale. We're just another interesting thing you do is just go back to the last exercise we did where we just used E as our root note and played the same notes. And what that would give you is E, F, G sharp, A, B, C, D. So that's called the Phrygian dominant scale. It has kind of an Eastern sound. Here, I'll just show you real quick. So yeah, that one's using a lot of metal. It's got kind of that Eastern sound, like I said. Okay, one last scale. It's called the pentatonic scale. Penta means 5, so there's 5 notes in this scale. It's a really common scale used in all kinds of music, rock, metal. It's even used in like ancient Chinese, traditional Chinese music. It's all over the place. So it's just like the minor scale, but the only difference is we're going to take out a couple notes to make it 5 notes. So it's going to be the root, the minor third, the 4th, and the 5th, and then the minor 7th. So we just took out that major 2nd, and we took out the minor 6th. So we took out B and we took out F. So it sounds like this. Right? It's very simple, just 5 notes. Most of the time you see guys play it like this and all across all these strings, kind of like in this different shape. Right? That's, same thing, it's just that you're playing it over a couple of octaves. So we'll talk more about the pentatonic scale in other lessons because it's a really important scale. Alright, so now you know minor scales, major scales, and Phrygian scales. Well, you know a couple of these shapes on that A minor area, but I want you to be able to do them in other keys. So that's part of your homework. Your first part of your homework, I want you to be able to play these songs, play these scales in other keys. So I'll just give you one right now, just help you cheat a little bit. So this one will be in D, okay? So I know this is a D note, right? Because this is a D note. Those are the 2 same notes. So let's just go ahead and play D minor, right? I just play the same shape. There you go, D minor. Now we want to do the major scale, right? If I just go to F, which is the D minor's minor third, I'll just play the same shape. There we go, we have F major, okay? And then if I go back to A, right, I'll have A Phrygian, because A is the 5th of D. So I'll just play it over here as A. Right, there's A Phrygian. So the second part of your homework is I want you to be able to extend these shapes all over the fretboard. So I'll just go back to that A minor shape, and I'll give you a little hint right now, right? So go back to the A minor. And then you want to use octaves to figure out where else these notes are all over the fretboard. So if we do it, it'll sound like this. And then we can go the other way too. Whatever, do that all over the place. And do it in different keys too. So that's your homework. Alright guys, that's it for this lesson. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to do your homework. So the next lesson is going to be about chords. Alright?